So we're talking motivation. So who's struggling with motivation at the moment? I don't think half of you are. I know you two. I haven't seen you a bit too.
I come twice
That's
a week.
fair enough. But I mean, half of you guys. Oh yeah, fair enough.
I'm just here for the laughs.
Yeah, you're just here for the fun and games. All right, fair enough. All right, so let's talk barriers to motivation. So let's get a quick hand to the next one. So who's struggling with motivation? You know, everyone's just put their hand. Woo. Why? So these are the, well, you can call them barriers, or you can call them, I don't know, excuses. Would you call them excuses? You've got time, money, injuries, no drive, no energy, not interested, no goals.
Discipline.
Discipline, yeah. Well, time.
Time.
You know, you got 24 hours in a day, and I guess, you know, like people will go, yeah, I've got kids, you know, I've got to.
Look at your screen time.
You know, yeah, I do this, I got to eat, blah, 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 and all that. Money, yeah, fair enough, but I mean, I guess, you know, you don't really have to have a gym membership to exercise and get fit, but I mean, it's $15 a week, you know, on average, you know, whatever. It's up to you. Injuries, fair enough, but you can still work around injuries. You can still exercise even though if you've got injuries. No drive, that's where we come in, we can help you, you know what I mean, program, PT. No energy, fair enough, that could be some health related, but out of all that there, these are perceived barriers within your mind, you know what I mean? So these are what you believe, well, you made them into excuses, but definitely you can overcome everything. So time, you can make time. Money, there's always going to be money because it's a very cheap option. You don't have to get a gym, as I said, you can go for a walk. You can go for a little walk, you know. I know, you're like, what's that going to do? Is that going to achieve it? But it can achieve things, you know. So it comes back to, like, you know, energy in versus energy out, stuff like that. Injuries, you can work around injuries, you know. What do you think? Can you work around an injury? So if you've got an injury, say you do your foot, does that mean you're out altogether?
No.
Can you work around it? I think you can. You just put it up there, weed your upper body, or you can, you know, go physio, get it all done. No drive, no energy. Who's got an excuse? What are their excuses? What are your excuses at the moment? Shoot at me. What are the barriers? What do people feel? Give me a barrier. Give me something that's like.
The weather's crappy.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. So that. Yeah. Okay.
Discipline.
Yeah. So then you just like, how would you work around? You take the day off, or you just like, nah, screw it, I'm going to get up and pull myself out of it. I think a lot of it's mindset on that one. That's definitely mindset related, and then it's up to you with the, you know, negative self-talk to turn into positive self-talk and sort of bring yourself in.
Like, how many times have you been cold and you have dragged yourself to the gym, and when you left, you gone, I'm glad I did that.
Yeah.
It's like the 6 a.m. like strength with Ethan, like we do. You've got to get up and do it. By the time your brain works out what's going on, you're already here.
Well, it doesn't matter. You just got to do it, sort of thing.
Yeah,
but when you do it and you get it done, you feel good afterwards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's pretty. But that's a big one anyway, because that's more mindset related. So, and overcoming your mindset barriers and stuff can be quite tricky, and that's understandable. What's another one? Anyone else got another sort of barrier that's really like, you know? Yeah, mental health. That's another mindset, really good one. So obviously mental health, unless you're on, like, you don't have to be on medication, but you can. But you obviously understand the benefits of going to the gym though, and it releases, you know, certain chemicals and stuff that makes you feel good. So it's all about, in terms of what you just said there, we're talking about mindset. So we've got to sort of reframe and look at the positive and go, well, if I do it, I'm going to feel much better afterwards. But I guess to get to that point, you've really got to build it up in your head and go, yeah, it's worth it to me. So, chuck out to me some goals. Like, what are your goals? Just chuck out some goals. Or what are we trying to achieve?
Just before you go further, Sam, but leave that mental health thing. You can set little goals. Like, I'm just going to go to the gym, say, don't even train, come in, say hello, style food. Come in, say hi, maybe do a 5-minute walk on the treadmill, go home. Next day, go, I'm going to do a 5-minute walk on the treadmill, do 1 bit of weights. Slowly make your way into it. Slowly get comfortable with it all.
Yeah.
Don't just jump straight into the deep end.
Well, that's it, because you burn out. You know what I mean? So if you're coming in and you're like, yeah, like I'm going to commit to 5 days a week, blah, 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 but realistically, you really only got time for maybe like 3 days a week. So you're too hard, too fast, you burn out, like you get too sore, and then we're not going to see you again. You know what I mean? So set realistic, sort of small goals, like go under your expectations. Your expectations might be out here, right? But just sort of tone it back and then build up to those expectations. So then you meet it and it becomes consistent and then it's ingrained in your lifestyle. So it's more of a lifestyle journey. So like you have people that join up in the gym, right? And they come in like, yeah, I'm going to hit it 5 days a week, 6 days a week, and then you have a look at their schedule and their schedule is chock-a-block. And I'm like, so where are you going to fit all this in? So it doesn't matter, you know, I'll work it out sort of thing, but they haven't worked it out. And then end up going once or twice, you know, people's busy. And then
It's not maintainable.
yeah, so you've got to sort of like, you know, come down a bit and go, let's just commit to 2 days, and then you get an extra day. And when that's a small win. So when you get the third day in, bang, that's a small win. Makes you feel like good. Releases more chemicals, serotonin, get going. Fourth day, bang, 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 and things just sort of.
That's like diets. When people get into diets, I always say, don't set yourself a stupid diet that you're only going to stick to for a month because it's not going to be maintainable. Stick to something that's like an 80-20 kind of ratio, 80% good, 20% bad. That way, you're going to stick to it for a long period of time. That way, it's not just going to be a phase.
Yeah, it's a lifestyle change. Cool. Fun. Yeah. So no. Anything. Other barriers to motivation. So again, just touching on negative self-talk. This is the stuff in your head. So mindset's a massive issue. So when it comes to motivation, right? Motivation is mindset. That is it. Motivation, obviously, like there can be external factors or chemical imbalances and stuff, but at the end of the day, it's all how the mind works out it all. If that makes sense, you know what I mean? Motivation comes from mindset. So if you, I guess, like some people have positive affirmations on the wall. They'll wake up in the morning and be like, you're fantastic, you're a great person, woo, happy days, blah, blah, blah. And that just like G's you up for the day, you know what I mean? You're like, yeah, cool, puts me in a great mindset. But that's what I mean sort of thing. So the one motivation you've got to understand is not something that Adam and I can give you. This is something that comes from your head going, yeah, I've got a goal, I need to hit it, this is how I've got to do it, and I've just got to do it. And you've got to stay positive in your headspace the whole time. As soon as you start getting those negative thoughts going, I'm not good enough, I've got poor body image, I look like shit, everyone's judging me, blah, blah, blah. Obviously it just goes downhill from there. So we need to, stay positive. That's the only way to do it.
Which everyone will have them kind of thoughts, everyone will have something in their head that tells you that, which is fine, everyone does violence, go to the gym and try and change up around now.
Yeah.
Because you're not just going to, every single day for the rest of your life, going to wake up being positive. There's going to be shit days. It's just trying to
But it's being
work through it.
mindful, using that strategy of mindfulness. So being able to sort of like, it hits you and you got that bullshit crap going through your head, and then it's like, hold on a sec, why am I even thinking about that? Is that reality? What's happening right now? Right now, I'm sweat as. Then why is all that garbage in my head? And it's like, and then you sort of just start to question, what's going on in your head versus, what's real. Once you get out of it and you find out this is what's real, and you're like, actually, it's not actually that bad at all. Like, I'm actually in a pretty good place, and you just need to make sure that where you are externally is what's going on upstairs as well. So negative self-talk, that's actually one of the biggest ones we find, like in the industry, people talk about, they don't realise what they're doing, and they go in a downward spiral. Life events, like a family member passing. Now, this is pretty common. So family member passing, holidays, moving house, weather, all of this sort of shit here, right, impacts people, but this all relates back to obviously how it impacts your mental health, your mindset, right? So that goes straight back to motivation. And, these will be used as, barriers or excuses to achieving your goal. Now, obviously, family member passing, that's pretty detrimental, it's pretty big, right? So, it's not something easy that, just get over it, mate, hurry up, that's something you have to work through yourself. You may need counselling or whatever as well, but that's a big one. Then you've got social barriers. So this one here is a big one. So this is you need people that support you, like around, be supportive people. So with social barriers, if you've got mates that just all they want to do is get on the piss and eat KFC and stuff like that, that's hard, right, to achieve your goal. So you're like that mate wants to get fit, I want to do this, I want to drop the 20 kilos and that, and then all your mates are just sort of like, let's get on the piss and do this, but they're all fit as fiddles, you know what I mean? But you're like, that doesn't help. So this is where you need to be pretty smart about it and go, well, I'll come out with you, but, and this is something you do quite well, where you go out and you won't drink, you know what I mean? You'll just do what you do. So it's sort of like not falling into peer pressure and that sort of stuff. So
I've got to party and bought non-alcoholic beers, it's put them in a snuggle cooler, so people thought I was drinking just so I didn't get
But that's a big one, like social pressure and expectations, like judgment from like your peers and stuff. And that's what I mean, like, we got to hide that. Now, should you have to? Probably not. And do people do it? Yeah. It's just how it is, you know what I mean? But that's a big one. So social barriers, and that's what I find is another big one, especially with the young fellas in the gym and all that, is trying to maintain something where they're just getting on the piss and all that sort of thing. Family, this one's hard. Like if you've got a big family of kids and that, and then you've got to feed them, and you're giving them chicken nuggets and chips, and then it's hard not to pick at that. And you want to have your chicken breasts and broccoli and all this nice little stuff on the side, and you watch what they eat. And, I just want to take it. You're not eating all, bring it in. So it all comes down to, you know, you said it before, discipline. It's discipline. Like, I'm with you, mate. I've got other kids, so it's pretty, see, they don't need it all. It's mine. But I mean, yeah, what do you do? You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. So, but that's what I mean. So, but going back to you guys, does any of that connect with you? Is this shit that you sort of...
Life events with a family member passing, because we've been through it personally.
Yeah.
With more than one.
Yeah.
My biggest thing with that was, and it is more internally, and I've got a girlfriend going through it right now who lost a son. I feel like people, they look at me and they know. They just know.
Yeah.
And that's something to do with us, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because we've been through it, and that's massive to overcome.
Yeah, it is. It's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge. I mean, like, and that's what I mean. Time heals all wounds to a degree. You know what I mean? And then, like, there's so much to it. As I said, like, you either need additional assistance from an external party, like, you know, or it's something that, you know, you'll sort of be able to figure out and work through it. Obviously, you know, the benefits of, like, health and fitness, they will help your mental space, especially going through something like that.
I
So
think I was better like after, because that's when I was coming to help me.
that's what I mean. If you are going through an emotional hard trot, and you know you sort of keep that, like this is something that Adam's done quite well, is keeping busy when you're going through an emotional hard trot, right?
Yeah.
So you know, probably touch on that soon. And it sort of gets you through that. So if you're distracted to a degree, you still need to be mindful. You can't sort of leave things unresolved. It's unhealthy to leave something unresolved and just to sort of, you know, and sort of like neglect it, you know what I mean? You need to give it time, but... Oh, you're meant to do the little ding, 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 like round up, you know, they put the music on. Anyway, so we've got a goal, so Fireys, any other goals? Yeah, lose weight.
Mine's just to like get back in.
Yeah, just routine, yeah. Sweet, anything else?
I'm going to do a my first novice powerlifting comp in December.
You're going to do this one, yeah.
She was going to.
Yeah, okay, that'd be cool. Alright, sweet. Yeah, cool. Well, they're good goals. Sweet. Let's go, let's check out the next one. Alright, so pretty much what is your goal? And these are just obviously example goals. So, and these are very sort of generic, I guess, to a degree, like lose 20 kilos, fit my clothing, feel better about myself, have a more positive outlook on life, have confidence, build 10 kilos of muscle, run a marathon, blah, blah, blah. So they're like your normal run-of-the-mill goals that people have. Now, usually when you have a goal, you need to have another goal underneath it to make you do this goal. And what that means is a value-based goal. So value means you value, let's say for instance, you value your health, and you think it's very important because if you get sick, you know, you don't have your health, you've got nothing. You know what I mean? And like, or like confidence, for instance, like building up your self-belief, like, you know what I mean? So inside you, so you can do things. You know what I mean? So value-based goals, and I'll just move on to the next slide, is very important. So value-based goals, like this one here, want to lose weight for my family. So that's a value there because you value your family. So you want to lose weight for your family. So usually it's something that's really important. Or you want to lose weight for your kids so you can run around with your kids and that. You know what I mean? I believe health and fitness is very important. So that's another one, it's value-based goal. And that's the reason why you'd be driven to either, you know, drop the 20 kilos or get fit or, you know, want to do this, right? So these are usually what motivates people in the gym, and they don't even know what value-based goals are, but this is the reason why people are in the gym, usually. So they're going to be, these are the underlying values. Yeah, they lose 20 kilos as it could get a risk of getting illness or diseases. Obviously, that's a big one. Don't like themselves. So that's a big one. And these value-based goals are what drives you to hit your actual goals, which is, oh, you know, I want to drop a few pant sizes, I want to do this, I want to blah, blah, blah. Is this something that do you guys have value-based goals? Do you feel like this is what you know what I mean, you find important? Because this is what actually drives every single person. Like for me personally, like I use it, yeah, for mental health, for family. I don't want to be one of those sort of dads that's super unfit and can't do anything with kids and stuff like that. And also don't want to get sick because my family has like diabetes on that side and heart conditions and all that. So I value it because it's because of what potentially might happen. So that's what would drive you guys. So it's good to think about, like, you know what I mean? Well, what is motivation? Why do we need it? Well, it's what drives you to accomplish and achieve goals and ambitions, blah, blah, blah. Motivation comes from intrinsic, which is what we spoke about, mental and emotional, which is this shit up here. And also extrinsic, which is physical. So having goals, short, mid, long-term goals. So this is, you might not have it already, but definitely make sure you guys have short, which is like something within probably the next month that you want to achieve. Short, mid, which is like within 6 months you want to drop, 15 kilos, whatever you want to do. And long, this is your lifestyle sustainability type goal, right? So this is where you want to be and you're like happy and you're honky-dory, blah, blah, blah. And there's very low risk of relapse, okay? Relapse, when it comes to like dropping weight, usually happens after or within the first 6 months here, the mid. So once you hit your 15, a lot of people actually just stop with their goal, which I find as well. So they go, oh yeah, I lost 15 kilos, woo! And then all of a sudden it's just like, bang, straight back on the rebound. Because they haven't actually made it to the long term. So you need to sustain something for over 12 months for it to be ingrained in your lifestyle, and then it's just an automated response, right? And that's how the head works with it. So you create new, like, if you want to get technical, neuro pathways, so new positive, the brain's firing in the way it needs to fire and everything's, So, I challenge you to just think about those ones there. Make sure you've got a short one, mid, and long. Now, how do I get motivated? So it's still the same sort of thing. There's things you can do here. So review your performance daily or weekly. Make sure you're taking positive steps. So literally just reviewing everything you're doing. So if that means like you've got a meal plan that you're following, and you just make sure that you just review after the whole day. It's like, did I do everything to a T on that? Yeah, I did, sweet. And then it's sort of like celebrate the win and go, yeah, I feel good, sweet, I've done it. The small wins, and this is a big one, right? No one really celebrates the small wins that you do. So you know how but you're pretty harsh on yourself when you stuff up on like a meal. And you're like, you have a meal plan and you just, you go hit KFC on one of the meals and then you write yourself off, right? Now, why wouldn't you celebrate the small win of being able to stick to maybe 2 other meals out of the 3 and go, yeah, I did it. That was awesome. You know what I mean? That's what we need to focus on. So instead of writing it off, go, no, now the whole day, I was 80% there and it was good. You can see assistance from us, obviously friends, family, blah, blah, blah. Taking progress photos, I think this one's a big one. Not many people do it. But it is, like, it's huge because, and that's what I find, like, I ask people in the gym, have you looked at yourself from 6 months ago to now? It's like, I forgot to take a photo. But when they do, when they have done, and they look back and they have a look now, they're like, oh, sweet. And that sort of brings back the motivation to go, I wasn't just wasting my time, I got something out of it. So taking progress photos isn't like, narcissistic, it's not all like about you. It's good for you, but like it's healthy because it sort of gets, if you start to get a bit of negative self-talk, it brings you back and it's like, yeah, no, we're good. Recording workouts and measurements, not for everyone. I don't know, it depends how like in depth you want to get, just to make sure that you're sort of going up in weights and everything like that. I personally don't do it, I usually just keep it in the head, but up to you. But that's something you can do, how to do it. Celebrate the small wins. So, as I just touched on there, doing housework or more like housework than usual, that's a small win. Now these small wins, it's just like boosting the chemicals in your brain, making you happy, and then all of a sudden you get the big win, which is like the big, weight loss drop. Going for a walk instead of binge watching TV series, like woo. Making it to the gym, replacing 1 meal a day with a healthy meal, like just small stuff. You know what I mean? If you're just starting out, just small stuff. Having one less cigarette a day, driving past fast food joint, 20 squats in the kitchen just randomly. This sort of stuff, but that's all small. Now, if you go and recognise it and go, yeah, okay, I did that, cool, and then you do it again, and then it sort of builds up from there. So this is what we want to see. And that will help you out. So does that make sense? Yeah. Like celebrating the small stuff, which no one actually gives a shit about, but you should give a shit about, because that's actually what the mind works on, is, because we don't give ourselves enough kudos. We just, blow over and go, until I fucking lose 10 kilos. Because we're so judgy about other people. We're like, we've got to look good for that person. And it's like, but this is all what makes up the mindset, motivation, which then goes on to you reaching your goal. For yourself, not for Joe Blow over there. For yourself. How easy is it to reach your goal? So I'm going to show you some transformations. Transformations of people that I've worked with, right? Yeah, I did. No, but this is people, it's already been up in public anyway. But these people sort of I've worked with. So this is one person here. So she competed on stage. So this is someone I worked with, and like she went through probably it was about 9 months. We did to get her on stage. You know what I mean? So that was a big process there. She sort of obviously had a kid since then, and things have changed. But you know what I mean? Like that's pretty crazy in 9 months to go from that to on stage. You know what I mean? Like that's pretty amazing. So, and that was a big sort of loss. I think it was about from 90, approximately 90 kilos down to she got on stage at about 62, 63 kilos. So that's pretty cool. But that's just to show you what you can do in a very short period of time. So that was a pretty decent drop. Who we got here? We got Nikki. So Nikki's a great example of someone that it's transformed pretty quickly. So 5th of July, you can see there, to the 14th of August, that's a massive transformation. Now, I can't remember what your start weight was, but you did, like, what was it about 91. So that's pretty, and then we got you down to 67. Yeah, so 67. So that's pretty good. But I mean, then you can, this photo here I wanted to sort of show because it shows the confidence that you get from achieving these sort of tasks, like doing this, right? Then it gives you confidence. You know what I mean? So not only if you look good and it makes you happy, it gives you confidence and you feel good about your body and you feel good about yourself and it gives you a better headspace and there's just so many benefits from it. So, but that was a 6-week transformation. That's pretty quick. That was a quick transformation. Did really well. You know what I mean? That's fine. And then Ella, another good transformation. So we worked together for about 2 years. You know, with the lockdowns included and that. So I can't remember what you started probably about
92, I think.
Yeah, and then pretty much like. Well, you got down to about 72. You got down to about 72. And then like we've gone up, but it's a composition change more so with you. So, and this is where like we talk about, like muscle doesn't weigh more than fat. You know, a kilo of muscle and a kilo of fat is the same. It's just the fact that muscle is dense, right? It takes up less room in your body. But I mean, you know, Ella, you can, you know, what, leg press 420 or 415 on a leg press. You know, I mean, that's crazy. That's more than me. But I'm just saying, like, you know what I mean? Like muscle density, I mean, it's pretty hectic. Like, I tried leg press today and I got 325 out. So I said to Nick, I was like, how is this even possible? You're doing 400. But I'm just saying, so it's not always about the weights that you lose. Like, it can be a massive composition change. So, you know, building muscle, you got, you know, obviously you can see there, you know, massive change. But not a whole heap of weight loss, but that's got nothing to do with it. It's sort of like building muscle. We got the strength, obviously we got the strength results, yeah, through the roof. So awesome. It's another one there. Investment in your health. So this is just a quick one sort of thing. Like if you don't have your health, what do you have? And that's pretty much what it comes down to. You know what I mean? Like you don't have much, probably you probably don't have anything if you don't have your health. But people don't actually spend much on average. I had a look at the statistics. People spend 0.04% of their overall income every year on health, which is like, oh, here we go, about $38 a week. $38 a week. Where like on compared to entertainment, which is $152 a week. It's hectic. You know what I mean? So people care more about being entertained, which makes them happy, instead of like doing what would actually probably improve themselves and make them happy long term, without having to keep going on different vices and shit like that. So that was all statistics from New South Wales Health. And that was pretty surprising because I'm just like, if it was the other way around, you know what I mean? Then so many people would be happy and there wouldn't be so much bullshit and, you know, all that. That's just something to think about. Then we got Adam. We got Big Dog here. So sexy boy. So this is where he's going to talk about his transformation sort of thing. But you know, he's gone through a bit of a journey himself. So this is what he was to what he looks like there. Sexy boy with the abs and everything. Woo! To then get into a fight. Get into a fight this weekend. So. All right, now we're just going to go to Adam with this sort of thing. Just ask a question sort of like about him and like I guess how he went through his journey. So in terms of like how did you stay like motivated? Like how do you stay motivated today? Let's talk about today. What gets you motivated today?
Today would be what keeps me motivated is the small processes I was making along the way.
Yeah.
The small goals that you're talking about felt good, kept me wanting more goals.
Yeah. So the small wins, and then build up to the big wins.
Like I said, if you can't lose 20 kilos. It's that first 1 kilo. Oh shit, that's 1 kilo. I don't want to get backwards now. It's going to go up 2 kilos.
Yeah.
The small stepping stones.
It's addictive. Like when you get going through the thing, you start seeing results. But then, you know, there's plateaus, and we can talk about that. That'll, you know, another discussion. But a plateau is usually just the body adjusting over a period of time, short period of time, and it'll come good. I guess. Because you went through, I know you went through some emotional stuff and that, and it's up to you if you want to get into it. Obviously, you know, your lowest point, you know, I guess what did you do to stay motivated? So what did you do? Because I know you went through a bit of stuff. It's up to you if you want to share or not. But I guess how did you get out of that? out of that sort of rut down there when you were there? Like, what helped?
Well, one is I feel like people normally go 3 ways. They try and keep to themselves and bury themselves, you know, keep to themselves, or they go straight to alcohol or drugs, or they can try and get a healthier mindset. The way I saw it was, I'm an overthinker. I didn't want to sit at home with my own thoughts. Like, I'll share with you all. I've witnessed a mate die. I've gone through a marriage breakup. I've gone through numerous different stuff, like heaps of different stuff. I had mates pass away over the last year that's had cancer, and I've literally thought, when I drink, yeah, it feels good while I'm doing it, but the people I'm drinking with, they're not going to be there the next day or the day after when I wake up to help me feel like shit the next day. That little part of feeling good of, you know, drinking or doing whatever, the come down for the next few days does not outweigh that couple of hours of fun. Sitting at home by myself, it's a spiral effect. You start thinking worst case scenario, then you believe that worst case scenario, that builds on, that builds on, that builds on. So instead what I did is started going to the gym, started training, decided I didn't want any alcohol, which surprisingly I thought dropped more weight than cleaning up my diet. I did clean up my diet as well, but alcohol helped occasionally. But not only that, when you go to a gym so often, you start seeing people every day, you build a friendship with them. Like, I've only known Sam and Nick and that for a couple of years now, but even after the first few months, I was coming to the gym venting to them about my problems while I was training. That was making me go to the gym every single day. I was going to them, venting about this, venting about that. They were there to listen to me while I was training. I didn't even realise I was training half the time, because in between sets I was talking shit to them.
It's good times.
But yeah, so pretty much then, yeah, I just did not want to have any depressants in my body. I didn't want to sit at home and overthink. I wanted to get here and try and put it into a positive way. Then also with a like just stuff that's going on in my life and like negative things, I decided I wanted to do something positive for myself. Why I started not drinking, set myself to get in a boxing ring, something that I wanted to be in control of the outcome. Like, I played soccer my whole life. I used to have the shits when we rock up the games. I knew that could win, and people did not rock up to play and would lose. So I'm like, I want to do something that I was in control of. I could put better discipline on, and I'll do it. And I did. I dropped down from 84 kilos down to 67 kilos now, and it's literally, it didn't happen overnight, but I just got in the mindset of, like I said, mates want you to drink. That's fair enough. You live your life if you need to. But I was just like, I need to do this for myself. And I've got a son. I want him to have a role. I want to be able to run around with him. My dad and I, when he was in his 30s, he just sat there and drank beer. He couldn't get up and move around. Now, I'm in my 30s. I did a freaking Ninja Warrior course yesterday with my son. It was pretty much just jumping over the bloody pool noodles in the front yard. But would not done that to me. But yeah, so I just wanted, I was thinking of the bigger picture. I wanted to do something that was going to benefit me, not set me backwards.
Yeah, cool. So how do you feel today? So right now, how's your mindset
My
now?
mindset. I feel
I've done a 180.
I feel unreal. You know, every once in a while you have shit days.
Yeah.
But coming to the gym, seeing your mates, seeing people that like you have a laugh with and stuff, snaps you out of it a bit. Like, makes you just kind of not get that thought out of your head, but it makes you not think about it for a little bit, and then you go, oh, now that I didn't think about it that long, was it really actually that bad?
Yeah, but that's it, exactly. Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah, it takes you out of the worst case scenario.
Feel fit. When you feel fit, you think fit, and you just get more confidence, and then that confidence grows on people around you, and then they feel good about themselves. I've got mates that, like, you know, you try and be there for them when they're upset and depressed, but then when they're not doing anything to help themselves, you're like, I don't want to go through that.
Yeah. So you've got to be in the right sort of headspace, like, and that's, I mean, you got that sort of mates that will be like that, but they're not ready, or they're not doing anything, but they want you to do everything for them. Now, like, how much of your energy do you want to give to someone, or you just let them go, or they'll find their way? I mean, you can always be there, but you can be them arm's length, and then sort of if they need, you know, like, you can sort of come in, but no, that's awesome. So there you go. So that's us. Do you have any questions? Yes, ready? Oh, thank you.
I just wanted to ask Adam, like, with obviously in the beginning you had to sort of rely on motivation to continue, to come to the gym and to get the work done. But now, do you feel like it's just a habit that you have that, you don't have to rely on motivation quite as much?
Yeah, definitely have it, but like Sam said with them photos, taking the before and after photos, might sound a bit lubbo, but look, just even the photo that he had up there. I remember so I was feeling really good at the start of the year, sitting at about 69 kilos. I'm not saying go off weight, but when you go into boxing, you kind of do have to go off weight. I was sitting about 69 kilos, and then I hurt my knee a little bit, so I slacked off the intensity with my boxing. I was still going, but I wasn't pushing myself. And then I started not concentrating on what I was eating so much. Like I started having ice cream, especially when it started getting colder. I was like snacking a little bit more and stuff. And I remember going to take a Snapchat. I looked at my face and I saw it was a bit double chin for a second. And then I actually went back and looked on a photo where I didn't have a shirt on, like a couple of weeks beforehand. And then I was like, shit, I'm actually I kind of compared myself. And then I went, nah, I'm gonna, start getting back on top of things. So I started, but I definitely do go to have it now. Coming to the gym to me now is like brush my teeth in the morning. I just get up and do it. If I don't do it, I actually sit there. I have to force myself sometimes to have rest days because I've made it that much of a habit. And not only that, I now look forward to doing things in the morning. As in, I've got a really good pre-workout that I like the flavour of at the moment, and because with my diet so strict, my youngest meal at the moment is in the morning. So I'll wake up, I'll go to bed, and I'm like, I know it sounds horrible, I can't wake up and have that pre-workout and have that feed. That's going to be the best feed of the day. And then but then once I do that and I have that pre-workout, I know I'm going to the gym and I know I'm eating. And can't wait to have that feed.
Any other questions at all before we finish up? Anything on your mind? Does that help? What we've just gone through? Does that sort of give you some clarity on how it all works?